Please join us in singing of our national anthem, accompanied by the Idaho Brass Quintet, directed by Roger Evans and sung by Megan Hopfer. Thank you, Megan. Please be seated. We would like to give a warm welcome to all of those that are here with us tonight. This is an exciting evening for students and those that have worked with them, for family and friends. We welcome you to the University of Idaho's commencement here in Idaho Falls. I am Marc Skinner. I serve as the executive officer for University of Idaho in the southeastern Idaho region. And it is my pleasure to introduce the 18th president of the University of Idaho, Dr. Chuck Staben.
Thank you very much, Marc, for opening our commencement ceremony and for so capably representing us here in southeastern Idaho. We're grateful for your leadership as our executive officer here. I'm honored and delighted to be with you in Idaho Falls this evening. Commencement provides an opportunity to reflect on the success of our students and the role of our state's leading national research university in Idaho and in the world. Our land-grant heritage means that our university has the privilege and the responsibility to serve every corner of Idaho, from Boundary County just south of the Canadian border to our state's capital in Boise to southeastern Idaho and, of course, the Idaho Falls area. Travel across our state and you will see the vandal impact everywhere, in our farm fields, in our waterways, in our small towns and cities, each prospering with vandal innovation, imagination, and inspiration. Idaho Falls is an essential part of the statewide presence of our university. For more than 60 years, we have grown with the region, carrying out an ambitious research agenda and providing an array of educational opportunities. At the Center for Advanced Energy Studies and in partnership with the Idaho National Laboratory and other institutions, we take a leadership role in research that seeks solutions for renewable energy and other critical areas while training the next generation of experts. We engage with communities across southeastern Idaho, meeting local and regional needs through programs such as 4-H. We are proud to have an impact on the fabric of communities in our state because all of Idaho is truly vandal country. You students have taken advantage of the many educational opportunities that are a part of the U of I presence in this area, and I congratulate you for your achievement in joining us today. Your hard work and determination have paid off with an incredibly valuable asset, a college education. Note that I place the emphasis on your education, not just your degree. While your degree will open doors and help secure you a bright future in whatever endeavor you choose, it is merely a signifier for the transformative educational experience you have completed. I hope you've come to understand the truth of our saying about the University of Idaho, that we are big enough to matter and small enough to care. Let me give you one example of how the U of I transformed a life and how our graduate is transforming space travel. You may have seen a recent Friday letter where I mentioned Tom Mueller, a kid from the small town of St. Mary's, Idaho, who wanted to grow up to fix airplanes, to be an airplane mechanic. Tom came back to U of I at the end of April this year for our engineering expo. He shared that as a boy in St. Mary's, he'd told his teacher he wanted to fix airplanes. And his teacher asked him, "Tom, do you want to fix airplanes or do you want to design airplanes?" Equipped with that new vision of what was possible for him, Tom headed off to the University of Idaho to start his journey. He revised his plans a little bit further. Instead of airplanes, he came to work on rockets, eventually co-founding a company with Elon Musk. And you may have heard of Elon Musk, the founder of PayPal, the founder of Tesla Motors, the company that changed what is possible for electric cars. You've likely heard of SpaceX too, the company they co-founded. They've been reimagining the future of space exploration through the development of reusable rockets. Every day it seems they make a major advance, recently returning a rocket from space and landing it on a barge for the first time in history. And at the controls, so to speak, is co-founder and chief engineer Tom Mueller, a proud Idaho Vandal, someone who found his ticket to the stars through his Vandal education. That is the family you are joining as alumni. We are leaders and volunteers. We are problem solvers and decision makers. We are imaginative and creative. We are diligent and hardworking, courageous and compassionate. We are a tribe from the north, brave and bold. Graduates, as you go out to discover your future, I encourage you to stay open to new ideas, to continue to seek new information and explore new concepts, to engage the world with enthusiasm and interest. Always keep learning. The Vandal family will be there to support you, and I hope you will always consider the University of Idaho a home. Remember, you are a Vandal, and whether it's in space or here on planet Earth, you can go anywhere and do anything. Many of you have made it here today with the help and encouragement of a support system. Parents, families, spouses, children, co-workers, friends, that has helped you rise to be your best. To that support network, I offer my sincere thanks and appreciation. And on behalf of all the graduates and the faculty and staff at the University of Idaho, I invite that support network, all those parents, grandparents, guardians, families, loved ones, friends, and co-workers, those who have been so supportive of our graduates, to stand and be recognized. So that's pretty much everybody not wearing a gown. Come on, stand up and be recognized. It's good to stretch at this point in the ceremony as well. Thank you very much for your investment in our graduates. At this time, I'd like to introduce the people seated on the platform tonight, and please hold your applause until I finish. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing. We have with us some guests: Lyle Castle from Idaho State University, a Vice Provost; Christian Godfrey, Eastern Idaho Technical College Vice President for Finance and Administration; Larry Stauffer, our College of Engineering Dean; Jerry McMurtry, College of Graduate Studies Dean; Heather Chermak, Registrar; Dennis Love, Affiliate Faculty; Carol Baldwin, Associate Registrar; Kathy Barnard, Alumni Relations Director; John Wiencek, Provost and Executive Vice President; Rebecca Casper, your Mayor and our commencement speaker; Marc Skinner, Executive Officer, Southeast Region; Dennis Keiser, Faculty Senate Representative. Ladies and gentlemen, your platform party. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd like to give special recognition to John Grossenbacher. John, would you please stand? On Saturday this past weekend in Moscow, at the main ceremony, we bestowed on John the Honorary Doctorate of Administrative Science. We asked John to be here tonight and sit on the platform so that the community of Idaho Falls could also join in congratulating John on this highest honor and recognition that the university gives. John, congratulations. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your service to this community. Honored guests, we thank you for sharing with us the awarding of degrees to the most celebrated members of our university community, our students. Tonight's commencement speaker, City of Idaho Falls Mayor Rebecca Casper, City of Idaho Falls Mayor Rebecca Casper. Mayor Casper was elected mayor of Idaho Falls in 2013. She ran on a platform of solving city problems, growing the local economy, and enhancing community assets. Rebecca earned her Bachelor of Arts in 1985 and Master of Arts in 1987 in Political Science from BYU in Provo, and her Doctorate in 1998 from the University of California, Berkeley. She owns a small political and professional consulting business, Omnia Strategies. In this capacity, she has managed issue and candidate campaigns, conducted issue research, cultivated relationships for clients, and advocated for issues at the local and state level, including improved water policy and economic development. Please join me in welcoming our 2016 commencement speaker, Mayor Rebecca Casper.
When I was back there, I could see everybody. Now I'm blinded. So let me start out here. President Staben and Executive Officer Skinner and all of the assembled dignitaries, graduates, and family and friends, it is quite an honor for me to be here tonight and for me to be in this company. Even just the conversation that we had getting ready to be on stage tonight was fascinating. This is an amazing crowd, and we're all so privileged to be gathered together today with them. When I put thought into what I wanted to say tonight, I had a fleeting thought that maybe I should talk a little bit about that critical nexus between the laboratory and the good educational work that the University of Idaho does here in Idaho Falls. And maybe I thought I should boast and brag about that and make a big deal of it. And then I thought, nope, maybe I should talk a little bit about the effort that's underway to perhaps bring a community college to the ballot here in eastern Idaho and see what we could do about that. And I would share with you all of my strong feelings about how that would just be nothing but bring nothing but good to eastern Idaho. And then I thought, I actually just kind of want to talk to the graduates tonight. We are in a small crowd. It's rather intimate, our setting tonight. And so I'm going to try to basically talk to everyone. And I'd like to start with a story. A little background here. When I was a young mother with my first two children in strollers, I was living in Phoenix, Arizona. It just so happened that my grandmother, who was, sorry, I keep making noise here. My grandmother, who was then living in a care center, had been transferred from a facility in Tucson, Arizona to Phoenix. I really loved my grandmother. She was good to me back when she had been independent and on her own. So I was really happy to find myself living where she was. I determined that I was going to visit her every week in that nursing home. But visiting a nursing home and having a quality visit was, and I imagine still is, a little bit tricky when you have small children in tow. It took some planning and some strategizing. For my son, who was a little bit older, he was, I think, 3, I stopped along the way each time we went, and I bought a Happy Meal. I also packed very special toys that he only played with when we were going to the nursing home. And I generally just hoped for the best. For my younger daughter, who was an infant, I packed the Cheerios, the juice, and other baby-friendly foods. And, of course, leaving nothing to chance, I changed their diapers in the parking lot before entering the facility. There's still an element of chance there, but I was trying to, had some of that. And then we went into the nursing home. Something that was remarkable to me about our visits was that the more mobile residents of the home lined the hallways with their wheelchairs during the daylight hours. Those who could stand were sometimes just standing in the doorways of their rooms. There wasn't a lot of conversation that took place, but I imagine that there was some emotionally useful social interaction that was occurring just by virtue of the fact that these people were in close proximity with one another. At first, I saw this human gauntlet of aged and nearly worn-out bodies as a distraction from my real mission, which was visiting my grandmother. But I soon, after a few visits, began to think of them as a welcoming committee for us. After a while, it wasn't unusual for it to take 10 to 20 minutes for me to travel the short distance from the front door of the facility to my grandmother's room, where because we were engaging in many verbal and sometimes nonverbal conversations. Part of the reason why it took so long was because these dear residents wanted to touch my children. They wanted to reach out and rub the back of their hand against my daughter's cheek, or run their fingers through my son's very fine hair. Some wanted just to look and smile. Others wanted to make eye contact or babble in baby talk as they looked at these kids. Of course, my children were pretty much too young to respond effectively. My daughter was just like an infant, as I said. But my point is that the residents were attracted, like you wouldn't believe, to my babies. It's almost as if they craved their youthfulness. The smiles that I observed, toothless smiles from both generations, right, were so very, very sweet to watch. And this was so easy. I could give a measure of joy to these residents while I was also doing something I wanted to do and felt very strongly about, which was spending time with my grandmother. I only had to share my young children with them. It was, like I said, so very easy. And my kids were so well loved in those moments. And I really can't think of a better place for me to have been at that time back then. And again, it was so very easy. I was killing many birds with one visit, right? I share this with you for a couple of reasons. I want to leave you with a couple of ideas tonight, and this story touches on 2 of them. And so let's tuck that away for just a minute while I meander for a second here. In 2008, President Obama, of course, was elected president, becoming that first African American to live in the White House. And that was momentous. And at the time, there was a lot of talk about the youth vote and how it was a part of what had swept him into office. Voter turnout, which is the number of eligible voters who do indeed vote, turnout is typically expressed, I should say, as a percentage of those who are eligible to vote. It's either a fraction of those who are actually registered, so you do a percentage of people who voted versus those who are registered, or you enlarge the fraction, or you enlarge it a little bit, and you take a fraction it's a fraction of those who voted versus those who are eligible to vote, the voting age population, as it were, which is everybody over the age of 18 who is not incarcerated. So no matter what, you end up with a percentage. And no matter how we define it, analysis of the 2008 turnout data revealed that the pundits were right and that young voters did indeed vote in higher numbers in 2008 and consequently could have been and probably were a big reason or one of the big factors behind President Obama's success. So if you go fast forward 8 years, we have another candidate who is still slightly viable, according to the pundits, who's really scored with that under 25 crowd. Though he's not as viable today as he was a few weeks ago, Bernie Sanders has successfully captured youthful voters in this election as young people have felt the burn, right? Political pundits have had a field day with this, and early on, they were making all kinds of comparisons between 2008's youth movement and the movement that we're seeing or had seen earlier this year. We'll see where we go from here. This is such an odd election year that the pundits have found plenty of other things to talk about. And so who knows what the final chapter will say on this election. I certainly don't know how many of the graduates here tonight are politically active. I don't know how many of you caucused or voted in the presidential primaries in March. I don't know how many of you voted today. You probably had other things on your mind. I don't know how many of you care about who will be the next president of the United States. These obviously are things I'm interested in because I work in government. I study government. I've taught government. I have always been a little bit of a political junkie. But that's all okay because a discussion of politics isn't really what I want to talk about tonight. But I do believe that just as with the residents of my grandmother's nursing home, today's society is craving young people. They crave and are trying to reach out and touch young people however they can. So what good is that observation? Well, it kind of speaks to one of the first points I want to make tonight, which is that as you graduates take the step of leaving here tonight with a degree, you become, socioeconomically speaking, an even more desirable member of society because of your potential citizenship. And so from where I'm sitting, you are youthful. Some of you may not be 22 years old anymore, but you are youthful and you're now highly educated. And that makes you something that society really wants to reach out and touch. So with all of society wanting what you have and who you are, what comes next? As a political scientist who loves her community and her country and who loves this state and who believes in being engaged, I have to tell you that we do not have enough citizens who feel that way. We do not have enough citizens who get involved, who care, who understand governmental processes, and all of these things that shape our daily lives and which expend our tax dollars. A lot of people just don't care to know about that. On the other hand, we sure do have plenty of people who express displeasure and who are willing to step up and say they're not willing to pay more in taxes. We even have people who wish to dismantle or tear down what we have managed to build in the way of public structure. But we have relatively few who desire to become part of the solution or be available to lend their talent to the pool. We need people who build. So, what comes next? I'm really hopeful that as you pursue your chosen path, and with luck, that path will be something that you actually studied in school, you will make time to contribute. I encourage you to put this fine U of I education to a very broad use, not just in your chosen fields, but in your homes and in your families and in your neighborhoods. I wish for you to be the kind of citizen who builds and makes things better. And making things better ties sort of into my second point for tonight. So the first point is I'd like for you to be the kind of person who builds. And the second point I would like to focus on for a moment has to do with service. I want to encourage you at this time in your life when you're young, when you have energy, when perhaps you have more discretionary time than you might have later, fewer obligations that you might have in the coming years, as marriage, children, the responsibilities of caring for aging parents, all of those things combined with the career-building activities and, of course, meaningful alumni work that you may find yourself involved in, all of that will chip away at your discretionary time more and more as the years go by. But now, maybe some of you are relatively unencumbered, and this is a perfect time for you to decide to make an effort, to volunteer, or in some way step up and serve, or share your gifts. I'm talking about sharing the things you're good at and already enjoy. For me, visiting my grandmother was something that I was good at that, and I did enjoy knowing that I was doing that. And yet, at the same time, I was able to fortunately give a little service. If you're clever, you might find a way to make these opportunities that you might engage in coincide with something else that you value or that you need. The opportunities for service can be as creative as you are. Maybe you yourself would like to go to a nursing home. Many of those there will still crave the youthfulness that you represent. They may not want to reach out and caress your cheeks, but they'll still draw much from your vitality. Or you can go to a school and find out which child needs to be read to or listened to. Or maybe you can visit a local United Way office and find out which local nonprofits need an office volunteer. Or you can contact a local church leader of some kind and find out which elderly member of their congregation may need a ride somewhere. Are you already a parent? Scouts and 4-H need you. Any number of sports leagues will want a coach for a youth ball team. Combine that with your own physical fitness goals and you have some synergy going. Contact a political candidate that you believe in and see if they need a volunteer. Plant flowers for the local Parks and Rec department. Perhaps you love reading. I imagine your local library is trying to record books for the blind. Like to talk? The hospital needs someone to visit patients who are alone and struggling. Or just show back up at that nursing home with a bottle of nail polish. There you're going to find no shortage of women who have not forgotten what it is like to want to feel beautiful. There is always something that we can do to be of service. There's ample opportunity for you to make positive contributions beyond just your academic and professional contributions. There's ample opportunity, if you have a service mindset, to make things better as you serve. If you can carve out as little as 30 to 60 minutes a week, you will find, or even a month, you will find that you will not only enrich the lives of others, but you will enrich your own. One of the intriguing things about opposites is that each serves to define, it's intriguing to me, each serves to define or frame the other. Hot has no meaning without cold, and vice versa. No up without a down, no good without a bad, no sweet without a sour, and on and on. And in that vein, I would say that the opposite of a rich and abundant life is an empty one. To my mind, these are opposites. One is negative and one is positive. And I believe that when it comes to living, a rich and abundant life beats an empty one every time. How do you achieve a rich and abundant life? More often than not, it is service. Simply sharing your gifts and your time that makes the difference. I will admit there's some other key ingredients for an abundant life, such as integrity, following your nobler instincts, pursuing your passions, and of course not being cynical. And note to your future self, if what you're doing in your life ever causes you to be cynical, it's time to change it up. Cynicism and anger are no basis for a life well lived, and I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong about this. So I want you to have an abundant life. And I think, and I know I'm rushing through this, I'm kind of reading because I'm nervous, and so I apologize. But I think that the old school book of graduation speeches has a requirement in it that says that you have to share a poem. And so, and I'm joking, but I'm going to share one. I'm going to share one of my favorites. And hopefully this will be a note to end on. But it is called On Nest Building by Carolyn Pearson. Mud is not bad for nest building. Mud and sticks and a fallen feather or two will do and require no reaching. I could rest there with my tiny ones, sound for the season at least. But if I may fly a while, if I may cut through a sunset going out and a rainbow coming back, color upon color sealed in my eyes, if I may have the unboundaried skies for my study, clouds, cities, rivers for my rooms, if I may search the centuries for melody and meaning, if I may try for the sun, I shall come back bearing such beauties gleaned from God's and man's very best. I shall come filled, and then, oh, the nest that I can build. I like that poem. In closing, let me just reiterate a couple things. One is that I would really like to see you take this degree and from here be the kind of person who makes things better, be a builder. Secondly, I would recommend that you share what you have to offer, your gifts, the ones that you've been naturally blessed with and the ones that you've cultivated through these years of education. Share these gifts by serving others. There are those who are very hungry for what you are and what you have to offer. And in so doing, you will be able to live an abundant life. And as you become the next generation of super citizens, as you become contributing members of our society economically, intellectually, culturally, and socially, I would ask that you do all of this somewhere in eastern Idaho if you possibly can. Some opportunities, of course, may take you away from Idaho. I understand that. There is a large world out there waiting for your specific kind of energy and talent and brains. But if you fly a while, I would invite you at some point to come back home. Build your nest here. Idaho craves your youthful vitality. So thank you and I hope some of that made sense. And I thank you for letting me share this evening with you. This is a special deal. And I wish all the best for you as you graduate and encourage you to please remember to value your education now and for always. So thank you.
Mayor Casper, thanks for your service to your community, and also thanks for sharing your thoughts with us this evening. We have a small gift for you if you'd come back up. And you can read more about Mayor Casper in your commencement program. In continuing to acknowledge excellence at our university, we recognize the undergraduate students who are graduating with special honors today. Provost Wiencek.
You will note students with honors as they cross the stage by the honor cords worn with the cap and gown. Please stand as I call your honor. Cum laude, with distinction, candidates wearing a bronze cord. These candidates whose GPA would place them in the top 10% of graduates from their respective colleges. Please rise if you're a cum laude. Okay. Magna cum laude, with great distinction, candidates wearing the silver cord. These candidates whose GPA would place them in the top 6% of their graduates from their respective colleges. And finally, summa cum laude, candidates wearing a gold cord. These candidates whose GPA would place them in the top 3% of graduates from their respective college. Round of applause.
Thank you. Now I'd like to recognize a special individual. A few years ago, we started a tradition of recognizing one member of the affiliate faculty who teaches at the Idaho Falls Center. I think we are fortunate to have the dedication of such outstanding individuals, and tonight we would like to honor Dennis A. Love. Dennis Love was born and raised in the Salt Lake City, Ogden area of Utah. He earned a BS in psychology from Brigham Young University in 1971 and an MA in public administration from Central Michigan University in 1977 while stationed with the U.S. Army in Hawaii. After his military service, Dennis, wife Robin, and his family moved to Moscow so that he could pursue a law degree. He graduated with a JD from University of Idaho in 1985. Immediately following law school, Dennis went into private practice in Idaho Falls for 3 years. Seeking a different challenge within the field of law, he accepted a position at EG&G as House Counsel in 1988. He later worked in a similar position for Lockheed Martin Idaho Technologies and Bechtel BWXT Idaho. At Bechtel, he became managing counsel. At his retirement in 2015, he was serving as Vice President, General Counsel, CH2M, WG Idaho, a position he held for 10 years. Outside of the office, Dennis has held various church and scouting positions throughout his life. For his ability to engage with students and to share his knowledge and experience, the University of Idaho, Idaho Falls presents Dennis with the Nathan A. Chipman Outstanding Affiliate Faculty Award. It's my honor to give the Nathan A. Chipman Outstanding Affiliate Faculty Award to Dennis Love. Congratulations, Dennis. Now, Provost Wiencek will announce the granting of university degrees earned by you, our students.
We are about to begin the granting of degrees to all candidates who have met the requirements for the doctorate, master's, and bachelor's degrees. These degrees have been completed through formal study at the University of Idaho. Degrees will be conferred on all candidates present at these exercises, as well as upon all absentees who have been duly excused. Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degree please stand? President Staben, with successful completion of any final examinations and other outstanding requirements, these candidates will have completed the required course of study and thus are recommended by their respective faculties to be awarded the baccalaureate degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Idaho, I hereby confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree earned with all its rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities. In testimony whereof, you will receive the diploma of the University of Idaho. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for the specialist degrees and master's degrees please stand? Each of you has completed satisfactorily rigorous advanced studies in academic disciplines. President Staben, these candidates are recommended by their faculty to receive the master's or specialist degrees so earned.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Idaho, I hereby confer upon each of you the specialist degree or master's degree so earned, with all its rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities. In testimony whereof, you will receive the diploma of the University of Idaho. Congratulations.
Finally, will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Education degrees please stand? President Staben, these candidates are recommended by their faculty to receive doctoral degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Idaho, I hereby confer upon you the Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Education degree so earned, with all its rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities. In testimony whereof, you will receive the diploma of the University of Idaho. Congratulations.
Students receiving the doctorate are given a doctoral hood, whose parts are described in the commencement program. It is our tradition at the commencement for doctoral candidates to be hooded by his or her major professor and greeted by their college dean. Doctoral candidates, please come to the stage to be hooded.
Ken Marsden, Doctor of Philosophy, Materials Science and Engineering, Major Professor, Supathorn Ponga Karoon. Dissertation title, Measurement and Analysis of Uranium and Cerium Depositions from Lithium Chloride, Potassium Chloride, UTEC Dick. Kylie Dawn Dixon, Master of Education, Educational Leadership. James Ryan Case, Master of Engineering, Engineering Management. Darren Miller, Master of Engineering, Nuclear Engineering. Shane Merrill Valentine, Master of Science, Technology Management. John P. Brush, Bachelor of Science in Technology, Industrial Technology. Sheldon Wayne Christensen, Bachelor of Science in Technology, Industrial Technology, summa cum laude. Robert Pena Gomez, Bachelor of Science in Technology, Industrial Technology, summa cum laude. Justin Walters, Bachelor of Science in Technology, Industrial Technology. David Norman Bingham, Bachelor of General Studies. Joshua William Woodard, Bachelor of General Studies. Monique Antoinette Nunez, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science. Jonathan R. Thompson, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science.
We'll give our graduates just a moment to return to their seats. Graduates, if you would, please stand. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Please move your tassel from the right to the left. Go Vandals, and congratulations. Thank you very much. You can sit down. I would like now to acknowledge the faculty. They are the principal source of guidance and knowledge for our students. They set the curricula, they advise, teach, and mentor students. They conduct research and develop creative arts and innovations which they teach in their classrooms and advance on to others around the world. Now will all of the U of I faculty please stand and be recognized. Thank you very much for your service. I'd also like to ask the staff at the Idaho Falls Center to stand and be recognized. There are some. It is often the unsung behind the scenes planning that you do throughout the year that enables the university to be successful in so many ways. Thank you for your service. I would like Kathy Barnard, the Director of Alumni Relations, to please stand, as well as all University of Idaho alumni on the platform, and also all U of I alumni in the audience. Would you please stand? And alumni, would you welcome the newest members of the University of Idaho alumni? You are joining an elite and loyal group of individuals numbering more than 100,000 nationally and internationally. Welcome. Well, this concludes our commencement. We invite everyone to rise and join in the singing of the alma mater. The words, I believe, are in your program. Then you may be seated until after the recessional of the platform group. Please join us for refreshments immediately following in the art gallery.
And here we have Idaho, winning her way to fame. Silver and gold in the sunlight blaze, and romance lies in her name. We'll go singing, singing of you, all proudly too, all our lives through. We'll go singing, singing of you, alma mater, our Idaho. We'll go singing, singing of you, all proudly too, all our lives through. We'll go singing, singing of you, alma mater, our Idaho.
What are we doing now? Oh, handful. Okay.